Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started tonight, and I'd like to welcome you to we're actually celebrating the 2018 recipients tonight and award winners, so obviously it's in 2019, but that's how we do it. So we've got a good program tonight, and I hope you enjoy the kind of the new layout that the team has worked on and the lighting and all that type of thing. We're trying to change it up, and I'm just thankful that the staff has done that and thankful that they're working hard to keep things fresh and new. Obviously, I want to introduce to you who's at the table up here with me before we kind of get going. At the end is our Lifetime Service Award recipient this year, Mr. Bill Jordan and his wife Pam. And right next to me is Mr. Kenneth Victory and his wife Esther Victory. And to my left is Brian Hercules. He is our town manager, and his wife Pat. Mayor Reed could not be here tonight. She is under the weather. So Brian is going to be up here with us tonight, and he will do a fine job. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to Bill Jordan and Ashley Barrientos. Bill's obviously got the Lifetime Service Award, and Ashley won the Young Leader Award, and also to the volunteers and the athletes of the year this year. So we appreciate you attending. Obviously, this event is to honor all the volunteers and the people that make the quality of life in Smyrna what it is today, and the people that built that foundation to allow us to enjoy that. This event started in 1990. This will be the 29th recipient of this award. The first recipient is sitting to my right, Mr. Victory, and it's probably to him it started in 1990, and probably unbelievable it's already been 29 years. So we appreciate the foundation that he's laid. I'd also just like to congratulate the nominees for the Lifetime Service Award. Bill has been nominated twice. He's won it this year, and another time in 2013 he was nominated. Jerome Dempsey, Ed and Jean Gleason, Marcy Jameson, and Mark Michelson were also nominated, so we're excited about that. And appreciate that they've given their time to do that. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and present the colors. I'm going to ask everyone to stand while they do that and stay standing while we do the pledge and then the invocation.
Present arms.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order home.
Please remain standing. Mr. David Henderson is going to give our invocation. If he'll just come to the podium over here.
Let us pray. Almighty Father, we give you thanks for this opportunity that we have to come and to honor those of our community who have excelled in athletics and in support of the athletic programs. Father, we're grateful that we all have the ability to live in this community, and we're thankful for the way you have blessed this community. We pray, Father, that you will be with us as we go throughout this evening. We give you thanks for the most enjoyable food that you have blessed us with, and we pray, Father, that in Smyrna your name will always be held high and honored. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Remain standing, please, while they exit. Thank you. You may be seated. And thanks to the Smyrna Fire Department, they present the colors at many events for us, and they also do a great job helping us and leading some programs, so we're very thankful for them. Before I introduce our next speaker, I did want to introduce a couple of people to you and have them stand up. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of people that build the foundation that we get to enjoy. And there's a group of people that has done that are here tonight, and there's obviously people that's carrying that torch. But I like to introduce people that has won the Lifetime Service Award before. So I can't see very well out there, but if you have won that award, I would like for you to stand up and let us give you an applause, please. I got to tell you, there's some very special people here tonight, and there's some that can't be with us. But that group that you saw standing and the people that's in those photos out there are very dear to the Smyrna Parks and Recreation family, and really the town. So I've got some family in-laws here tonight. It was not my choice on the red. It's not crimson at all. It's not crimson. But I do know the guy on the end wishes it was. It's red. It's red for the soccer league. That's I've been assured that. Yeah, so he'll probably change it later. But anyway, I'm thankful for the people. As director, I've got to be around through this event and through other events. And some of those folks that's won the service awards have welcomed me like I've been here, like I grew up here. And it's really it may be 50,000 people in this town, but it's still got that small town feel when it comes to recreation and events and that type of thing. I also wanted to mention our Parks Advisory Board. I know several of you have served on that before, and which helps us out, and they advise the Parks and Recreation Department on many things such as fees and planning and projects and that type of thing. So the current board, I think I see some members over here. If y'all don't mind standing, I see Miss Doris Sullivan and Mark Hardy and Scott Poston. So if y'all give them a round of applause. And H.G. Cole. You're right up under the light. But H.G. Cole also serves on that Parks Board and has for many years. And I know that several of you have before. Obviously, the mayor's not here, so my boss, the town manager, Brian Hercules, is going to step in and speak to you guys tonight. And just a couple of remarks. Brian has hit the ground running. He started here in July of last year. And one of the first things he did was go around to each department and meet us and see what we did. And I think he still does that. I think he's actually cloned himself. I see him everywhere, and that's a good thing. But he's a big supporter of what we do, quality of life, but he really supports everything. But he's really gotten involved, and I told him the other day, I said, I feel like you've been here 20 years because he has hit the ground running, and he understands kind of the quality of life issue just from his background. He worked at the Chamber of Commerce for several years, but his real background was at Atmos Gas down in Georgia for 30 years. So he's got the construction end, quality of life end, and definitely a people person. So I'd like to introduce to you Brian Hercules.
Thank you, Mike. He said something about he thought I cloned myself. I think we were doing your performance appraisal that day, weren't we?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I do want you to know the mayor sends her regrets. She's probably watching us right now, so if I mess this up real bad, they'll be introducing the next town manager next year at this event. She called me literally as I was getting in the car. I talked to her about 4 o'clock this afternoon. She was going to be here. As I was getting in the car to come over here, she said, I'm just not going to make it. I thought, Mayor, I'm sorry you're sick, but that means you want me to make your remarks, and I don't have any notes. So I'm going to kind of wing this. I literally sat here about 10 minutes ago and wrote a few notes, so I hope I don't screw this up too bad. But again, as the mayor sends her regrets, I hope she gets to feeling better, hope she doesn't have the flu, and she'll be back on her feet soon. One of the first things I'd like to do is introduce a group of people that I am so proud to work with and be part of their team as visionaries for our community, and that's our town council. As I call your name, if you would stand up and be recognized, Vice Mayor Mark Atkins, Council Member Tim Morrell, Council Member H.G. Cole, Council Member Jerry Short. Let's give these folks a round of applause. Also, and forgive me if I missed somebody, but we do have a couple other elected officials I wanted to recognize. I saw the judge come in, Judge Alexander back here. You stand, and then also, before you give her applause, wait a minute now. I'm not done, don't mess this up. The mayor's watching. Commissioner Rhonda Allen, I saw her come in, and if there's anybody else, elected official that I may have missed this here. Thank you both for being here, and thank you so much for what you do for our community. You know, to be here at the volunteer recognition, when I think of volunteers, you know, the first word that comes to my mind when I think about volunteer is impact. The impact that you have on this community, the impact that you have on our parks and recreation. And we're here tonight to thank the volunteers that work with our parks and recs, and also that make the leagues that impact our children. Thousands of children that have been impacted by your work and what you do as a volunteer. Thank you so much. The family members that are here tonight that support these young folks, that are supporting the coaches and the officials and all those kind of things. Thank you. The league officials and the board, the league board, thank you for what you do. Yeah, we have to say thank you to the officiating too now, okay? Trust me, they're human. They make mistakes. You've all pointed them out to them. Also the coaches. Thank you to the coaches for taking time to invest in our young people and put these leagues together. Mike's already recognized the park board and Rex board, but again, thank you for what you do. I've had the pleasure of sitting in on a couple of the meetings. These people take their job very serious. They have a good time, but they do a great job of directing our parks and rec. The other people I'd like to thank very quickly, the Parks and Recs employees. As Mike pointed out, I've been here since July. I will tell you, this is probably the most robust Parks and Rec department and parks property in the Middle Tennessee, or maybe even the Tennessee Valley complete. It's unbelievable. You've got such a wonderful asset. You know, Mike talked about quality of life. That is our quality of life, to be able to provide those services, not just for the children in the leagues that we're recognizing, but for even Jerry Short as he walks his 20 miles a week out at Sharp Springs. For all of us, the parks are just such a wonderful, wonderful part of our living experience here in Smyrna. I'd also like to congratulate the award winners tonight. I won't call you by name. They're going to be coming up here in just a little bit. But as I talked to the mayor tonight and was talking about what this event's about, we're not recognizing you necessarily because you're the best player. We're recognizing you for something even more. It's because you're the best teammate. You're the best teammate for your players and your teams. Thank you so much. I want to congratulate Bill Jordan tonight. I've not met Mr. Jordan until this evening, but let me tell you something. I've heard a lot about this guy. Winning the Lifetime Service Award, how apropos. This man has given his life to this community all the way through the works that he's done. He was part of the first commissioners that worked with our parks, and then was part of the management change in our government to the new form of government where we have a council and a town manager type government. Thank you, Mr. Jordan, for your influence on our community. The last thing I want to do is, how many of you enjoyed your meal tonight? I know Mike's probably going to do this. But again, it's a part of the town that I get to work with on a regular basis. But our food service, our chef, and all of his staff, what a wonderful job. Thank you for what you've done tonight to make this very special. Thank you all for being here. Again, the mayor regrets that she couldn't be here, but I'm looking forward to enjoying the rest of the program tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the compliments and the short notice speech. You did just fine. You did just fine. We appreciate it. Brian has really jumped in and supporting not only our department, but a lot of departments in this town. Now we're going to move on to some of the award winners tonight. I want to introduce to you Mr. Marty Smith. Marty is over our leagues, over our events, and does a fantastic job, him and his staff do. And for us, it's always a team effort. We may have titles, but we really all kick in to do things. And Marty leads our athletics office. I'm very proud of him. And I'm really proud of how they work with our leagues. You know, we can't do it without the leagues, but we try to coach and build the parameters for them to be successful too. So, Marty, I'm going to let you take off with it.
All right. Well, thank you, Mike. And Mr. Hercules, you said you got late notice and wrote your notes when you got here, but I wrote my notes months in advance, and I've known about this event, and I'll still mess up plenty more than you did, so don't worry about that. No. But I want to congratulate Mr. Jordan first and foremost. I've had the honor of working with him plenty throughout the years, and he is definitely very deserving of this award and all his time that he's given to our community. I also want to congratulate Miss Ashley Barrientos, our Young Leader of the Year, who was a delight to get to know her and made me feel like I really did not take advantage of my high school years. So congratulations to both of you. And then congratulations to all of our recipients tonight. And all the volunteers that are here. We couldn't do anything that I know myself and our staff that we do without all of you. So thank you for everything that you do, and thank you to all of our recipients tonight. A few things, just some housekeeping before we get going here that I want to mention to everybody. Recipients, at the end of the night, please don't take your award and run out the door. We do got to get some photos with you up here by the stage, and athletes will get some photos in the back in front of our nice banner that we worked real hard this afternoon putting up. So make sure you don't run out here at the end of the night so we can get some photos with you. League representatives, if you're here, just one of you, if you want to grab some certificates we have for you and your board organization out in the lobby, we'll have some ladies out there that will hand those to you. So just one league rep, if you can grab those before you leave this evening, that would be great. Also, as you come up and get your award tonight, we always have an awkward transition of getting a photo with you right over in this region right here. If you would, after that, they present your award to you, we're going to stand right here to the side and get a photo, and then we'll let you go sit back down. All right, without further ado, I'm going to get going here by honoring our Coach of the Year, and to present our Coach of the Year award is Miss Elena Scritt.
All right, our Coach of the Year is from the Smyrna Fast Pitch League, and it is Warren Gardner, and he is an amazing coach in our league. He's been coaching our league for many years now, and he teaches the girls with patience and shows each one respect. He doesn't have a harsh word for any girl in our league, and he supports all of our players in the Smyrna Fast Pitch League. I catch him on many occasions just watching games and just supporting all the girls. He is the first to always have a positive attitude and encourage everyone to have good sportsmanship. He coaches in multiple age groups, and in our league, that is an awesome contribution because we have so many little girls, and he's touching so many lives. Our league would not function without great coaches like Warren Gardner.
Y'all are going to get to know Elena pretty good tonight. She's got a few awards to present, so I told her she's got a harder job than I do tonight. So now for our Parent of the Year is Miss Elena Scritt again.
Let me just get the right page. Okay. All right, the Parent Volunteer of the Year is going to Katrina Jones. Hold on, let me find mine. Okay, there we go. Katrina has been a part of the Smyrna Fast Pitch League for 2 years, and in those 2 years, she has quickly jumped in and just done what she needs to do as a parent, but also as a board member in our organization. She jumped in and became a team mom, then became the team mom director, and then lower commission director. And if we didn't have people and parents like her that could just jump in and do their job, our league wouldn't run successfully. So Katrina Jones.
Thank you, Miss Elena. I know I'll see you again in just a second. Now, on to the next part of our program. I want to call up a couple individuals from our local Academy Sports and Outdoors who help sponsor a lot of what we do, and I know I get to see them a lot. I'm in their store way too much, but we're going to ask those gentlemen to come up here and help present some awards to our athletes tonight. So very first and foremost, we're going to ask for Mr. Jerry Bradley to come up and present our Volunteer of the Year for Smyrna Baseball.
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor and a privilege to represent the Smyrna Baseball League tonight in presenting awards to our nominees for Volunteer of the Year. Our first nomination could have gone to many individuals who represent the Smyrna Baseball League. However, SBL chose the one who stood out the most and represented the league on and off the field. Our nominee came into Smyrna Baseball without any knowledge of the board and how the league operated. She was chosen to take on a position as sponsorship coordinator, and for many years in the past, that received very little attention. During her first season as the sponsorship coordinator, she sprang into action by knocking on doors, sending emails, and texts to businesses in the Smyrna community asking for support for the Baseball League of Smyrna. Her efforts didn't go unawarded. Her first year in this position, SBL received the highest amount of sponsorships in many years. Not only did she come back as sponsorship coordinator for the second year, she was then tasked for the responsibility of the commissioner for the 3-4 division at Lee Victory Park. I'm sure you can only imagine the time away from her family, the many phone calls, and the patience it took to handle both positions. Please help me welcome Nikita Chapman up here to receive the Smyrna Baseball League Volunteer of the Year Award.
So now, Mr. Bradley is also going to present our Youth Athlete of the Year for Smyrna Baseball.
This nomination was a no-brainer to me. As one of the league commissioners at our board meeting, when the words of athlete of the, I completely interrupted the board meeting by saying and yelling out, Mighty Mike. Mighty Mike got his nickname by being a player of the 10U, and that when my division, the 12U, needed a pickup player, I would send a text to his parents at any given day, of the moment of the day, asking, was Mike booked for that night? Being a player that began his baseball career at the age of 5, this young man allotted what would have been recreation time at home for recreation time on the ballpark, which to date has been 10 seasons. His passion for the sport and dedication to the Smyrna Baseball League has been noted night after night when the call of duty to assist a division that most coaches of the younger players strayed away from allowing their players to assist. For you who follow baseball, the 12U league is very aggressive. His leadership and willingness on his actual team, 10U White Sox, has earned him again the name Mighty Mike. Looking ahead to the spring season at Todd Lane Fields, I know I will be calling on Mighty Mike again, and no matter if he plays at 5:15 or 7:30, he will step up to the plate, literally. Not only has he earned his place on the field, Mike, you have earned the Athlete of the Year award. Please join me in welcoming Mighty Mike Cos up here to receive the Smyrna Baseball League Athlete of the Year.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. And now I'd like to ask up Mr. Scott DeMumbrian to present the Volunteer of the Year for Smyrna Adult Softball League. Scott, I was worried you weren't here. I saw you walk in back there, though.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Our award winner is Willie Jackson. Unfortunately, he is unable to attend tonight. He is still at work, so I'll be accepting his award upon him. One quick thing I'd like to say about Willie. About a month ago, I called him to tell him he had won this award and explained to him for everything he had done for us. Anytime somebody called out and couldn't work, he was there. Anytime somebody couldn't lock the park, he was there to help. I thought Willie would give me an answer about, yeah, definitely, I really enjoyed helping. But his answer was simple. He said, you asked. And that's what a volunteer is. It's somebody who just will step up and do whatever you ask them to do. No questions. And that's why Willie's our winner, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks.
That'll let me think I won something tonight, so I had to get that opportunity. Now for Smyrna Youth Football, to present our Volunteer of the Year is Mr. Mark Dye.
First off, before I announce our Volunteer of the Year, I'd like to say hi to my mother, who's in a hospital recovering from double pneumonia, and I found out a little while ago one of our coaches is next door, room next to her, recovering from surgery. He enjoys coming to this event each year, and that's Rick Veal. So hi, Rick. A couple other people I'd like to thank as well. First off, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our board. We've got a tremendous board. We work 11 months out of the year preparing for this season, so I'd like to thank the entire Smyrna Youth Football Board. Also, this year, we celebrated 50 years of youth football. That's a huge accomplishment. I know if Donnie Carter was here, he'd be very proud. I know Gene Carr is. This year, we had several people to attend our 50 years celebration. I'd like to thank one, the mayor, two, the town council for coming out, taking times away from your families on Sundays to be out there, the town manager, Brian, members of the Park and Recreation Board, Esther and Coon Victory, and of course the Carter and Carr family. And the community at large as well. They were truly overwhelmed by all the people that participated in this. Also, I'd like to thank, of course, I said Gene Carr. Our Volunteer of the Year is Monica Loeb. She has been involved in our program for 3 years. We have chose Monica because of her incredible dedication to our league. She's had many jobs. She's helped in sign-ups, fitting of the girls in cheer uniforms, concessions, competition, and of course the celebration we had this year for 50 years of football. So without further ado, I'd like to give this award to Monica Lowe.
Thank you, Mark. Now for Smyrna Youth Football, to present our Athlete of the Year is Mr. Derek Potter.
Thank you, Mark, for giving me this opportunity to present this award. Tonight, I'd like to present this award to two young men. I have the privilege of coaching these young men this year. Every year, you get a different group of kids, and you learn a little bit about yourself. You learn a little bit about life when you meet people. And these particular two young men that I have the privilege of coaching this year just brought a light to everybody. Austin is probably 4 feet of something wet. But every single day, no matter what went on, he had a smile just as big as you could imagine. He never let anything get him down. Every day. And it just amazed me, no matter what we were going through as a team, as for himself, he always had a big smile. His brother Brandon, you guys don't know, he was born in a condition where he could not play football. And every single day for practice, he was out there. Coach, what do you want me to do? Coach, can I help? Coach, can I do this? Coach, can I do that? And it's things like that that make you appreciate what you have as a coach. When you get to give time to individuals like that who appreciate everything that you're doing. And I don't say it with words, it's with actions. So with my pleasure, I would like to introduce Austin and Brandon as Athletes of the Year for Smyrna football.
Thank you, Derek. I think that award meant a lot to those boys. With Smyrna Fast Pitch League, I'd like to ask Miss Elena Scripp. Again, I told y'all you were going to get to know her tonight, and wasn't lying. She's going to present our Volunteer of the Year for Smyrna Fast Pitch.
All right, tonight I am proud to present Jennifer Miller on the part of Smyrna Fast Pitch League with the Volunteer of the League for the League's award. She's been with our league for over 5 years, and in that capacity on the board, she's been present the majority of the time, and she works endlessly and tirelessly for our league. She's gone above and beyond all the expectations needed, and she doesn't do it because she has to. She does it because she wants to. She wants to see our league grow and see that all the kids in Smyrna, girls, get to play fast pitch and get to fulfill their dreams of being fast in the Fast Pitch League. So tonight I get to present Jennifer Miller with the Volunteer of the Year.
I've been trying to get Jennifer to get up here and make a speech every year. I'll get her up here eventually. That was it. That was it. Miss Elena for the Athlete of the Year for Smyrna Fast Pitch.
All right. Athlete of the Year for Smyrna Fast Pitch is going to be GC Gardner. And GC hustles every time she goes on and off the field. She always does it with a smile on her face. She's willing to play any position you put her in. Doesn't matter. She just goes out there and does her best job. Even if she doesn't know how to play it or what to do, she'll just give it her best effort. And because of that, we love seeing the smile on her face and her good example that she gives to all the girls in the league and the positive attitude. She always has an encouraging word. We like to present her with the Player of the Year award.
Yes, Elena, you're done. All right, now with Smyrna Junior Basketball League, to present our Volunteer of the Year is Mr. Lane Crawley.
Hello. A little bit of a script here. The man I will introduce to you tonight is one of the friendliest faces of the Smyrna Basketball League. I asked him before I came up here, what do you want me to say? And he's incredibly humble. He's just don't say anything. Just, nothing. He's so humble. He's served our league for over 20 years. He's done that. He's served in many roles. He's served as a coach, often in multiple teams, during the same season, by the way, serving as a good example to our kids. He's worked as a board member. He is also a commissioner of our Stewartsboro gym, which means he spends a lot of thankless hours in the gym all day long, helping to keep everything in order. This gentleman is the kind of guy who can handle a tense situation without himself being unpleasant. When this man speaks, wise people listen. So it's my pleasure to present the award for the Smyrna Junior Basketball League Volunteer of the Year to your friend and mine, Mr. Glenn McKnight.
Thank you, Lane. Thank you, Glenn. Now to present our Athlete of the Year for Smyrna Junior Basketball is Mr. Nathan Glover.
Good evening. Well, before I get started, they told me I was going to present this award to a special guy, a special individual, and I thought about it. I was like, well, an Athlete of the Year, what would that consist of? Someone who's 6'5", 6'8", strong muscles, fast as lightning, can score at any will, and most of a team captain or a team leader. Well, our Athlete of the Year is Mr. Riker Ingram. But before I bring him up, let me tell you a little bit about him. All right, he's an 8-year-old at John Coleman Elementary. He's in the 2nd grade, plays flag football, and of course, part of the Blue Devil basketball team. He attends Fellowship Baptist Church, and he's on the welcoming committee, where his duties consist of greeting everyone that comes in with kind words and a smiling face. Now, but his background is that when he was in the womb, he was born premature. He suffered a few physical setbacks, such as low muscle tone, asthma. So he wasn't the strongest, wasn't the fastest, but he always had a great attitude. Now, his flag football coach, we got a long list of things. I'm gonna keep it short though. Everybody has so much good things to say about him. But his flag football coach said, youth athletics is doing a great thing, is about doing your best, working as a team, being supportive to your teammates. And Mr. Riker excels at all of these things. And this is why he deserves the award. He shows a competitive spirit, and his willingness to work and do his best should be inspiring to all athletes. His 2nd grade teacher wrote in and said that Riker is very respectful. He goes out of his way to help others and uses good manners with a big heart and always has something positive to say. Now, again, like I said earlier, the things I thought about an Athlete of the Year. Now, he doesn't have to be the tallest, but he plays with the biggest heart. He doesn't have to be the strongest, but he will give you 100%. He doesn't have to be the fastest, but he won't quit. And he may not be the team leader or the team captain, but he shows leadership on and off the field. Ladies and gentlemen, our Athlete of the Year, Mr. Riker Ingram.
What Nathan didn't say is Riker will always keep you laughing, too. I've had the privilege of refereeing both flag football and basketball for that young man, and he tries to carry on a full conversation with me while we're running the field or the court. Said, Riker, you got to play. You got to play. He's a trip. Now with the Stones River Football Club to present our Volunteer of the Year is Mr. Tommy Williams.
Everyone in attendance tonight is here because they play a role in youth sports in the town of Smyrna. Everyone here knows we couldn't run our organizations without volunteers. Everyone also knows there are volunteers, and then there are volunteers. In trying to figure out what I was going to say tonight, I looked at the dictionary definition of a volunteer, and it says, a person who freely offers to take part in an enterprise or to undertake a task. That's the noun definition. If you look at the verb, it's probably a little more appropriate. It says to commit someone to a particular undertaking, typically without consulting them. I think we call that voluntold. The volunteers that make organizations great very often are a little bit of both. North Rutherford Soccer and Stones River Football Club's Volunteer of the Year represents the best of that bunch. Marion Fleener, she's back in the back there. She's going to get embarrassed here in a moment. She's going to hate every moment of this. But like most volunteers in the room, they wear more hats that can be defined. I'm going to start with the formal hat she wears for our club. She's a team manager, a team treasurer, a club secretary, a tournament director, and a board member. The informal: complaint desk, travel agent, personal chef, hotel maid, butler, laundromat attendant, accountant, financier, Uber Eats driver, delivery driver, taxi driver, and ambulance driver. But the most important hats she wears are those of teacher, mentor, sounding board, shoulder to cry on, second mom for some, de facto mom for more, confidant, role model, and friend. It is my pleasure to present the Stones River Football Club Volunteer of the Year Award to Marion Fleener.
To introduce our Athlete of the Year again is Mr. Tommy Williams.
Stones River Football Club's Player of the Year, an award winner, Hiley Sharp, is a back-to-back recipient. Principally speaking, there's probably some that wouldn't agree with doing that. Personally, I didn't think that what Hiley did this year would ever live up to what he did last year. For those of you here last year, I read his many achievements. It was quite an impressive list. But luckily and happily, he proved me wrong. Let me just give you a few of the things he's done in the last calendar year. In the spring season, he led his 2004 team to the Division I State Cup semifinals. In the fall season, playing up an age group, he led his 2003 team to the Division I State Cup semifinals. He was selected to the Olympic Development Program district team, state team, sub-regional team, interregional team, and the Region 3 team. For the second year in a row, he was invited by U.S. Soccer to train at the U.S. Training Center. Last March, he traveled to Scotland to train and play for a week with the ODP program. Last June, he was invited to train for a week with Major League Soccer's Columbus Crew in their academy and was personally scouted and evaluated by the new U.S. men's national team, Greg Berhalter. And just last week, he was invited to train or to travel to Portugal next month, where he's going to train with Sporting Lisbon's academy. Of course, none of this would be possible without the love and support of his two parents, Robert and Marla. One's here taking pictures, the other's back there smiling. Can't say enough about the commitment they make to their kid. He's a multi-sport athlete. They've got another son that's a multi-sport athlete. They've got daughters in college. But they never even blush at the moment or the thought of taking him somewhere else or taking on another journey with him. That, and they run the Refuge Church right there on Front Street in Smyrna. Hiley's accomplished many things this year that a parent or a coach could be proud of. But as his coach, one of the most amazing things is how humble the kid remains. I say humble because he likes to make fun of me and harass me and tell me how cool he is. He lives by the mantra, look good, feel good, play good. Right? He's back there cheesing. And I'm sure he's going to think he looks really good when he comes up here for the picture. But he really is an amazing kid. He's the first to offer a kind word for his teammates. He's a mentor for our recreational program 2 nights a week. He worked as a summer counselor for our summer camp. He leads our team in prayer before they take the field. He's absolutely an honor to coach and a joy to work with. Highly Sharp.
Thank you, Tommy, and thank you to everybody that presented tonight. I know that's always something that's kind of hard to do, but I think this goes without saying, but I want y'all to notice some of the incredible people in this room that make all this stuff possible. You've got to meet a few of them tonight, but this whole room is full of them. So thank you again to all of you for everything that you do for this town. Now something we like to do each year is recognize one of our leagues for everything that they do to help us out throughout the year. And on your programs, you'll see that Mr. Chris Davis is to present that award, but he could not be here tonight. So I'm going to ask Mr. Jimmy Stitt.
Thank you. Chris wanted to be here tonight. He, too, is helping someone that's in the hospital this evening, someone in his family. I asked him, I said, well, what do you want me to say? This is your speech that I'm supposed to give. And he said, well, first thing you got to do is say, congratulations to Mr. Jordan. He said, second is you got to keep it short like I am. And so I'll get started here. Stewardship is defined as the job of supervising or taking care of something, such as an organization or property. Tonight's Stewardship Award is going to a group that has shown responsible stewardship for our public lands, our park areas, our community, and even our state. Helen Keller said, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. The first example I want to give of this is this award could go to many of our leagues. This past Thanksgiving, 3 of our leagues got together, baseball, football, and soccer. They came together and they cooked turkey dinners and all the trimmings and all the sides and the desserts. I think there was pies for days, as Carlos Rawls told us. And so they took those to families in need of over 50 people here in our community. This award goes to an organization that continually provides for the citizens in so many ways. Some of those ways are hosting their jamborees and tournaments. They run a very organized league. They run scrimmages and practices at multiple locations. They even hosted a state tournament the last few years. They've invested both time and money in their facilities, and they're going to continue to invest this year alone. Our recipient this year has helped fund a new press box and a concrete project. They're helping to continue sidewalks around the fields as well, to continue those to the visitor side. Please help me congratulate Smyrna Youth Football as the 2018 Stewardship Award winner.
Great job, Jimmy. And now another special part of our program. Before we formally introduce our Young Leader of the Year, I got the privilege of going and doing an interview of her at Smyrna High School, and I just want to take the time to show you all that now of Miss Ashley.
A senior at Smyrna High School, Ashley Barrientos stays more than a little busy.
I'm Ashley, and I'm captain of the girls soccer team, part of Science Club, Beta Club, Mu Alpha Theta. I'm secretary of Mu Alpha Theta. I'm also a member of National Honor Society. I'm also a part of travel soccer, so I practice like twice a week.
Excelling in academics and athletics, Ashley's recognition as this year's Young Leader is well deserved.
This award means a lot to me because my parents always raised me. I'm the oldest in my family, and they always we're trying to implement that leadership quality inside me. And so I feel like earning this award is like, you know, proving to my parents, like, I did it, you raised me, and this is where I am now. In my eyes, being a leader is being able to pick up the people around you. A lot of times in soccer, we have a lot of disappointing things happen. We lose games, people get hurt, and all you can really do is just tell people, hey, you know, this happens. We have to move on from this. We have to grow from this and become better as a result of this. And I think that's a really big part in being a leader is when things are really bad, you have to learn how to pick everybody up and carry them on your shoulder and be like, okay, let's go. We're gonna get through this.
She's been a 2-time Soccer Offensive Player of the Year in the district, and she's attended Governor's School for the Humanities.
If something bad happens, don't let it consume you, because that takes away from your experience here, that takes away from your focus on academics. Like, life isn't that serious. A number doesn't define who you are, a GPA doesn't define who you are.
Ashley wants to thank her friends and school faculty for this award. But her biggest thanks?
I really, really want to thank my mom and my dad. They both really taught me a lot about not just, you know, school, but about life too. And if it weren't for them, like, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be talking to you guys. I wouldn't be accepting this award or going to governor's school or, you know, playing my heart out with soccer or any of that. So I really have to thank them for that.
Yeah, we're live, Ashley, I told you. To present our Young Leader Award is Miss Olivia Looper.
Hey, that was a really special video. I was kind of afraid that I wasn't going to be able to talk a whole lot about Ashley and tell you who she is, but that video did a fantastic job of telling you who she is. So I'm going to do a little bit more. I have had the pleasure of knowing Ashley since her sophomore year of high school, and the more I observe her, the more impressed I become. I know that the major premise of this award is that the candidate lead and participate in a community service project. So I'm going to tell you about what she did to deserve this award for that. As a junior, Ashley volunteered for the task of leading a team to raise money for Baylor Bramble, the former Siegel High School football player who endured a brain injury. Ashley understood the importance of the fundraiser and gladly took on the responsibility and led her team well. And because she led them so well, they were the team out of dozens others in the school that raised the most money for what we gave. Now I get to tell you about who she is. She is incredibly special. In a world that is driven by the need to define, Ashley defies labels, categories, and stereotypes. She is so authentically Ashley that she cannot be placed in a box, and this is where her ability to lead well comes from. She is intelligent, athletic, compassionate, driven, passionate, steadfast, and most of all, visionary. She demands excellence from herself, her peers, and even her authority, but she doesn't do it in a way that chases people away. She does it in a way that invites others along, that gently prods them to be better and do better. So when she has an idea, people jump on board. Ashley really is the best person to bestow this honor upon. She is one of the most positively influential young leaders I have come across. Felicidades, Ashley. I present you Ashley Barrientos, the Young Leader of the Year.
Don't run off, Ashley. We have another really important part of this award, and with that is our Smyrna Independent Merchants Association, better known as SIMA. Various representatives are here to present the $500 scholarship check that goes along with this award to Miss Ashley, and that is Vanessa Haley, Mr. H.G. Cole, Teresa Irwin, and Rhonda Brown. Yeah, they're coming, I promise. Oh, that's okay. going to turn this program back over to Mr. Mike Moss.
Thank you, Marty. I just want to say, after seeing that, first of all, congratulations, Ashley, and all the recipients. But some of these speakers did a great job, so let's give them a hand. I thought they did a great job. I'm not only talking about our staff, but these people of the leagues. You can see why we're blessed here in Smyrna to have people that lead our leagues or are part of our leagues like we do. So I'm just very thankful for that. I want to introduce you a man that really needs no introduction. The award is named after him, Mr. Kenneth Coon Victory. As I said earlier, it's 29 years of this award, started in 1990, named after him, and his father won it the very next year. So I ran into to Coon the other night at the basketball game the other night at Stewart's Creek game, and I asked him, I said, hey, whenever you get a chance, maybe you can ride around with me and look at some of the projects we got going on. He pulled out a list out of his pocket, and some of the places were already on the list. He was going the very next day, so he really didn't need me. But that's how involved he stays, and I really appreciate that. Mr. Victory is a former commissioner of Parks and Recreation, former county commissioner. His influence is far-reaching, and as I said, a lot of us didn't grow up in this town, but his influence and his family's influence in Parks and Recreation in the town is really carried on down to us. He's a great supporter of the town, the county, and really the whole Middle Tennessee area. Avid MTSU fan and supporter, and I'm alumni, and I'm not as big a fan as he is. I got a little orange in me, but he's all blue, you know, which is a good thing. But he's just that type of guy. First award winner, I've told you that, and just really one of those people that you're glad you get to come across in your life, and he is that guy. So he will introduce Bill, but I want to make sure you know who that is. So I introduce to you Mr. Victory.
Thanks, Mike. I would also like to add my congratulations to all the winners tonight, and also to the many, many other volunteers out there that are behind the scenes that make the Smyrna Recreation Program what it is today. I would like to thank Mike and all his staff for keeping the facilities safe, clean, and always in tip-top shape. Also, I'd like to thank the mayor, city manager, city council, and all the administration for all the departments of the city for their help and assistance when needed. Tonight I have the honor to recognize Bill Jordan. Bill is one of 8 children and was unfortunate to lose his dad at the early age of 5. He's a lifelong resident of Smyrna. Bill attended Smyrna high schools and played football for Coach Bud Rakes. After high school, he attended college at the University of South in Swanee, Tennessee. While there, he was a member of the football team and the wrestling team, and his football coach was the legendary Shirley Majors. Bill and his wife, Pam, have been married nearly 40 years. Bill's been a lifetime member of the Smyrna Church of Christ, where he served as finance committee, chaired the missions committee, and has guided many missions to Siberia. He's been a deacon and currently serves as elder for the church. Bill and Pam have 3 boys and 2 grandchildren. As Brian mentioned earlier, Bill has served as Commissioner of Finance on our City Council. During his tenure on the council, he was very instrumental on our Greenway program and advancing our soccer program. Bill has coached both football and soccer, as well as served in multiple terms on the board for the North Rutherford Soccer Stones River Football Club, acting as both president and treasurer. He's a former member of the Smyrna Rotary Club. Today, Bill is employed at the Tennessee Farmers Co-op in the accounting department. Bill, I would like to thank you and Pam for the many positive things you contributed to our community here in Smyrna. Tonight, I'm happy to present to you the Kenneth Coon Victory Lifetime Service Award, and it reads, Kenneth Coon Victory Lifetime Achievement Award presented to Bill Jordan with sincere appreciation from the town of Smyrna for a lifetime of dedication and unselfish volunteer service to the good people of the Smyrna community, given by the citizens of Smyrna, February 15, 2019. Bill Jordan.
Coon asked me earlier tonight, was I nervous? To be honest with you, I'm more embarrassed than nervous. I appreciate all the folks that are here, the guests, the folks from years ago, and it's an honor. I can't tell you how much of an honor it is. You know, as a volunteer, we spend an awful lot of time doing work that we don't get any kind of recognition or honor for. And I'm pretty much embarrassed to be here in front of you because I know there's people here that are more deserving of this. One of those I could tell you was Rich Wyckoff. Rich is the one that submitted my name. Rich, I'm going to make you stand up, man. Just stand up. Rich has meant a lot to the town and particularly to the soccer league, and he's meant a lot to me. He's led us on a lot of family vacations and things, and you can't find anybody that's more professional about how they do things than Rich. And in a little bit of a contrast, HG, will you stand up? HG's biggest claim to fame in this whole thing is that he just wouldn't let me tell him no. I tried for years to say, no, I don't have time, I can't do that, no. And he just wouldn't ever listen. HG and I grew up together, and we've been lifelong friends, and I appreciate that, G. He's one of the reasons I got involved with the city government. And Brian, I want to tell you something. As long as you treat the town of Smyrna well, they'll treat you well. They may not, in my case, reelect me after 4 years. But but they will treat you well. If you folks if you notice all the pictures when you came in the room, most of the people in those pictures are people that helped me when I was a kid growing up. And they're the ones that taught me about being a volunteer and about service. It started, I literally was born in Smyrna at Goodall Clinic. And then our house burned. And my brother and sisters are here, and it's good to have them. But even before I left the hospital, I was served by people on Rock Springs Road who took care of all of us. I stayed in some other people's houses at times because, you know, we were trying to rebuild and do some things. So from early on, I've benefited by servants and volunteers. One of the things you notice when you're young, you lose your father. I had 3 big brothers, but you know, none of them are your dad. And there are a lot of times in my life when I really miss that. I'll never get through this. And so when you play sports, a lot of times your coaches kind of take that role. You know, because they're giving you discipline, they're giving you encouragement, they're giving you discipline, you know. And I was blessed with some really good people. Coach Rakes will always have a place in my heart. When I didn't play football one year because I just had an issue with a guy named David Young, and we won't go into that. But David is the reason I cheer for Alabama. I was so mad one time at practice, I said, Coach, who does Tennessee hate the most? And he said, Bama, and I've cheered for him ever since. So when I got to high school and David had moved from junior high to high school, I decided I could live without football 1 year. One of the toughest years of my life. And Coach Race kept telling me, Jordan, you got to come back. Jordan, you got to come back. And I said, Coach, if you'll coach, I'll come back. When I was a junior, Coach Race came back to coach, and I appreciate that, Coach. And we had a good team. We actually had a winning record, and people kind of forget that Smyrna had a winning record in some of those years. Well, Coach Buck was a great coach and a leader, a guy in high school. He coached me in football and wrestling. We started a wrestling program at Smyrna, and that always meant a lot to me. And it probably had a lot to do with me going to the University of the South, because I was being recruited, although they don't give scholarships, you know, to play football and wrestle. And I want to tell you about a coach that we all need to be like. I wish I could have had him here. You know, you talk about me playing for Shirley Majors. Shirley, we could always tell Shirley was a level-headed guy because tobacco juice came out of both sides of his mouth. But I had a coach there named Horace Moore. Now, I grew up in Smyrna. I have a brother, Walter, was inducted into the Smyrna High School Hall of Fame this year. Great football player, right? All my life, you know what I heard in football? Hey, you're pretty good, but you know Walter. Okay, I understood that. When I went to Swanee and played for Coach Moore, he never, ever, ever said anything that I couldn't do. All he ever talked about was what I could do. And folks, as coaches and leaders of leagues, we need to be that type of person. We need to be so positive that we help these kids reach their potential, their maximum potential. And we don't need to put a cap on that potential. Sometimes we put a cap on someone's potential, and that limits them from doing what they can actually do. I had a teacher the other day in a class that asked me, a church class, can you become more than your teacher? He said no. I say yes. Because a teacher can bring you so far, and then an individual's talent can take you further. As leaders of these leagues, we need to remember that. I know I only got 5 minutes. But Coach Moore never once said, you can't do that, Jordan. A real short story. He was both my football coach and wrestling coach. I was at practice one day, and I played both ways, offensive tackle and defensive tackle, you know. And I was on defense one day, and those were the best days. When you went to the locker room and had a red jersey, that was a great day because it meant I was on defense. I went to the locker room and had a white jersey, it meant I was on offense, and that wasn't such a good day. No one likes offensive linemen. But I was practicing on defense one day, and all of a sudden, Coach Shirley Majors started yelling, get him out of here, get him out of here. I was kind of looking around and see who he's talking about. He was talking about me. And so he yanks me off the field, and I go stand over on the side, and I'm trying to hide because I figure my football career must be over. And Coach Moore came over with the biggest smile on his face. I said, Coach, why are you happy? He said, Bill, Coach Majors sent you out of here because he can't run his offense. He said, you stand over here by me, my son. That's one of the proudest days of my life, I'll just tell you. Well, in 1991, a group of us went to Russia in the middle of Siberia on a church mission trip. And that really changed my outlook on life in a lot of ways. People can say, do you have faith? And we all say yes. But until you see your faith tested and you see God and the way he provides for you, then you're not real sure how much faith you have, you know. We're going halfway around the world. It's still, at that time, it was a communist nation. We didn't know anybody. And we spent 3 glorious weeks in Russia and got to know some great people. We planted a church there, and for years and years, I made about 12 or 13 trips back and forth to Siberia. And that changed me because I knew then that we can talk about faith, but I knew then that God was with me no matter what I did. And his son Jesus is our best example of a servant. We need to serve others because God has worth in us because he let his son die for us. And we need to understand that we need to turn around and do that for the folks in our community.
I love the town of Smyrna. You know, I worked in Malibu, California, and Michigan. I love being back here and being at home. And I just don't see how we can't all get out and work together for this community. We've got a city council sitting here, and I'll be honest with you, I went to school with all of them. If you want to know any good stories, you just come see me. I've seen some of them in the locker room and in some of their worst times. But every one of them strove to be a better person, and they did. We need to take care of our town. We need to take care of our friends, our neighbors. We need to take care of those little kids. And whatever we do, folks, don't put a cap on their potential. Don't you limit them. Let them limit themselves by how they overcome things. My shepherds, elders from church, I became an elder a few years ago, and when I became an elder, I told the soccer league I had to retire. I was with the league, started in 1986 was the first time I did some work for the league, and then about 4 years later, I was in the league ever since 1990 when my son got old enough to play. And Pam and I, we always looked at our service to a league or to a group when our family was involved as family time. People say, well, how can you be a servant? How can you be a volunteer and give up all that time? Well, they were always with us. You know, they were there. So we made sure that we made time to be with them in whatever we did. And that brings me to the boys. Two of them are here. One of them's in med school in East Tennessee, and he couldn't be here. I know that I don't know that he'd love to have been here, but I'd love for him to have been here. You know. But I've got to tell you, the best servant I know. And I've kind of got away with a cheap Valentine's date. You know, I told her last night, I said, hey, we don't need to go out and eat tomorrow. We got a banquet on Friday. You know, I invited all the elders from church here, and I told them, tell your wives that you're taking them out to eat. It's a free dinner for Valentine's Day, man. My wife, Pam, means everything to me. There's no doubt that I married up, that I overachieved. See, if somebody had capped my potential, I'd have been with somebody else. My wife, Pam, means I've always introduced her as the most beautiful woman in the world, and she is. When I was in Russia and I told them that, they said, well, Bill, there's a lot of women in the world. I said, yeah, but there's only one Pam. And I've honestly believed that all my life with her. March 24th, if Lord willing, we'll have been married 40 years. Thank you, Pam. Folks, y'all have heard too much, and I've said too much, but I got to tell you, when Marty called to tell me I won this thing, I said, Marty, in other words, what you mean, a lifetime service award, that means hurry up and die. But I've been on the other side of those tables. And folks, if you don't do what you do, this world's a lot worse place. Don't let all the chatter on Facebook and social media get to you. We're still a great country. We're still great people. We're a great, diverse people. If you weren't there, we wouldn't be as good. So you keep doing what you're doing. Enjoy your time. And I'm telling you, you're more deserving of this than I am, and I appreciate it. Thanks.
Good job, Bill.
I feel like it's an award show with the music kicking me out of here. Bill, excellent speech. Appreciate that. And Pam, 40 years with Bill. I'll give you an award too, right?
That's what keeps her looking so young.
Yes, that's what it is. That's what it is. Well, I have my wife's uncle is Bill Jordan, so and his family's here, so I get to hang with them a couple of times a year, and it's the reason my pants are really tight, Miss Helens, because we go to your house for Christmas right now. That's the deal. But they're a great family, and I'm so proud that Bill's got to be awarded this award. So we're very proud of them, and I know it means a lot to all of you. Just a couple of things before we get done here. We talked about league partnerships. If you drive around town, you're going to see a lot of change and a lot of construction and that type of thing going on. In the parks department, basically all those projects are partnerships with our leagues, with someone, it might be a grant, but it's always a partnership with us. Our town council, our mayor, our town manager, our Parks Advisory Board, they're all involved in all these type of things, and then we take it back to our leagues, and they work hard. They don't get paychecks. They do a lot of volunteer service and put on tournaments and everything, but everything we do construction-wise is based on partnerships, and I like it that way. I don't think every city is like that. We go to some of our parks conferences, and when we say, hey, we're partnering with our league to build a $150,000 concession stand, they don't get that. But here in the town, we do. That's just kind of how it works here. And we're very fortunate. I will say that we're building a new baseball complex right now. We haven't had new fields since the early 90s, and we're due, we're due. But we're excited about the newness of that, and that's how we trust in our leagues. We trust that they're going to carry that torch to a new place and open up opportunities at the other fields as well. And congratulations to the Football League. I'm like Jimmy, all of our leagues are great. They do a great job. They've been doing it for 50 years, and that's very impressive. And I'm not sure how many years the other ones have, but it's somewhere in that neighborhood, 30 to 50 years. So we're very fortunate here. I know I signed off on 70 certificates last day or two for volunteers, league volunteers, 70. And there's many more besides that have a part of that, whether it's coaches and parents and that type of thing. But 70 volunteers, and we have 5,000 to 6,000 kids and adults run through our leagues when you combine fall and spring. So there's a lot of work to be done. Also wanted to thank, I don't see Chef out here, but the event center staff, they did a fantastic job. I hope that y'all enjoyed that meal. So let's give them a hand. They do an excellent job. Also, just to throw it out there, you might have saw it when you come in, but next Friday they're having a seafood fest down here, and I think I heard that they've already got 120 people that signed up for that. So if you're looking for something to do next Friday night, Bill, that Valentine's dinner can be a week later, so you can do that. But see them. It's next week, starting like 5 to 8. So also, I just want to say thanks to our staff. I'm not going to ask them to stand up, but they have done a fantastic job, and they do that year-round. I just tell you, I'm blessed. I'm very blessed to lead a group such as that, and you can see the up-and-comers and the people that's going to fill our shoes. I'm excited about that, but they get out there and work hard every day, and obviously we get paid for it, but we've made careers out of something this guy right here has started with Parks and Recreation. So, I say it every year, our kids, when they're young, they think we go to parks just to play, and that's our job. That's not the job, but it's a lot of long hours and odd hours. And I just want to say thank you to them for what they do and their families, because their families are at home many times when we're at events. Also, to the Channel 3 staff, we are live tonight. John Lanza and his staff and our IT staff, Robert Culp, leads our IT staff. They are here tonight and making sure everything goes well. And most of all, I just wanted to say thank you to you and the volunteers and the people that make this what it is. I'm very proud to be a part of this town, be a part of what's going on, and be a part of the future. And I can tell you the future's bright. This town will look a little bit different, probably a lot different in 2 years than what it looks like right now. And I just appreciate the group that's here that's built that foundation to allow us to carry that torch. I've said it for many years. I wasn't here when some of these parks were built or the roads were built. The people that made those things happen allow us to carry that torch and make them just a little bit better. So I'm very proud of that, and the quality of life. Here in a couple of weeks, you're going to be seeing some ball field lights on, and that's what we're all excited about. I know there's some scheduled spring baseball going on, so get your coveralls out and be out there over the next week or two and enjoy that. But I'm excited about the spring, and this usually kicks off our spring. So we are done here, and if there's any cake left, get it before we do, right, Marty? So, look, I hope you stick around. We've got some pictures to take up here, and the youth athletes will be over there. So make sure you stick around and do that and pick up your certificates as well. So we're done here. Thank you very much.